Okay, today we're going to do Candy Atom Labs. I'm going to go through a few examples with you, and remember that these examples are not exactly like they are in your lab. We're going to be counting M&Ms, Skittles, and Nerds. M&Ms are protons, Skittles are neutrons, and Nerds are electrons. Your lab paper will ask you to write down the lab station, number of neutrons, number of protons, and number of electrons. So that's where you will start. First, we'll do lab station 1. So I know the lab station because of the number on the baggie. Then I will write lab station 1. Next, I'm going to take the candy and dump it in the bowl provided at the lab station and go through what I have. Looks like I have 1 M&M and 2 M&Ms, 2 Nerds, and 2 Skittles. Okay, and refer back to the lab. M&Ms are protons, Skittles are neutrons, Nerds are electrons. Since I have 2 of each, I'll write 2 in each of these lines. And I have all my information filled out. Now I have to name my element. So based on the number of protons, I should be able to look at the periodic table and figure out what element I have. Helium has atomic number 2, therefore we have helium as our element. So I wrote in our element, and now I have to figure out if it's an isotope. For the sake of this lab, we're going to go by this way of seeing if we have an isotope. So check if it's an isotope. Compare the number of protons and neutrons in your element. If the number of neutrons is different from the number of protons, you have an isotope. Now on our paper, our protons and neutrons are the same. So we're going to say no, it's not an isotope. Now we have to check if it's an ion. Now to determine if it's an ion, we have to check protons and electrons. If they're equal, your element is neutral, not an ion. So I'll put no there. Next, we have to draw a Bohr model. Now remember, the protons and neutrons go in the middle. So I will do 2 protons, P+, 2 neutrons, and then I have to put in my electrons, so I'll make 1 energy level, and I'll draw my electrons in. You can circle these if you want, or just write the E like that. Now it's asking what group family does my element belong to and what period. So I need my periodic table again. If we look at helium, it's in group 18. Now remember, a group is a column. It's going up and down. So I just look up for that. And then for the period, I have to go across. So we go all the way across the periodic table, and it is in period 1. So I can write that in. 18, also known as the noble gases. Okay, and then period 1. Good, so that example is finished. When you're done, please put the candy back in the baggie. The next example is lab station 5. All right, now I'm going to count my candies. For Nerds or electrons, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll just start filling this out. Lab station 5, 8 electrons. I'm going to sort my M&Ms by checking, the M&Ms are flatter than the Skittles, so I'll separate those. All right, so for M&Ms, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, M&Ms are the protons, so I'll write 7 in here. For Skittles, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'll write 7 here. Okay. What element do I have? Let me look at my periodic table. I'm going to look for atomic number 7. I have nitrogen, capital N. I'm going to write that in. And then I'm going to figure out if it's an isotope. Well, my protons and neutrons are the same, so I put no here. And if it's an ion, the protons and electrons are not the same. So it is an ion, yes. Now I have to draw the Bohr model. So for this Bohr model, instead of drawing 7 protons and 7 neutrons in the nucleus, I made a big circle and put 7p plus 7n to represent that. Now I have to draw in my electrons. Recall from the paper plate atom models that we made that only 2 electrons can fit in that first energy level, and then I have to put the rest in the second energy level. If I already drew 2, then I have 6 left for 8 total electrons, and this is my completed Bohr model. Then I have to see what group my family belongs to. So nitrogen is right here. I'm going to go up. That is group 15. And then for the period, I will go across, and that is in period 2. So I'll put 15 and 2. All right, and then we're done with that example.